But the people who are making the decisions about our promotions look at our body. So you can have incredible intelligence and you can have incredible ability, but if it's packaged inside of a body that has green fungus growing on the teeth, and the shoes aren't polished, and it looks like you've been sleeping in your clothes for the last 6 months, you're not going to get a promotion. People need to see you at that desk. Everybody say, see me in that position. Now, if they can't see you in that position, they're never going to make the decision to put you there. So we take care of the outside. Daniel 1 verse 4. Young men without any physical defect, handsome, showing an aptitude of every kind of learning. There's the outside, and now we're working on the soul. We've talked about an aptitude for learning, being quick to learn. Now the next phrase, well-informed. Everybody say, well-informed. Say it again. Now if you're going to be a promotable person like Daniel and his 3 friends, you have to be somebody that when people look at you, they see that you are well-informed. They see that you're what? Now, well-informed in the Hebrew means just that, well-informed. It means to be in possession of knowledge, to be in possession of information. You have a wealth of knowledge. Everybody say, a wealth of knowledge. Now, at some point, we have to realize it doesn't matter how smart you are. It matters that you have knowledge. Everybody say, I have knowledge. Many of you, please forgive me, don't get mad at me. Many of you are incredibly brilliant people. Look at the person next to you and say, I'm brilliant. Say it again. The problem is not with your intelligence, but you're lazy. You're what? Everybody say, brilliant, but lazy. You're brilliant. God has blessed you with an incredible amount of intelligence and IQ, but you're lazy. You don't read. You don't study. You are like a brand new computer with an i7-7820X processor and a 2 terabyte SD drive and 32 gigs of RAM and no information. Now, if you don't put any programming in the computer, it's just a very expensive paperweight. It's a very expensive what? Now, some of you, you are so brilliant. You are so, and in fact, you are so brilliant most of your life, you're coasting by. You're what? You don't have to put forth much effort. You just coast by. But think where you would be if you stopped coasting and started really working on getting well-informed. Everybody shout, well-informed. Say it again, please. Now, these people that make decisions about you for your promotion, when they sit down and interview you, they're going to ask questions that are designed to understand your personality. They're going to ask questions that are designed to understand your character. And they are going to ask you questions that you won't even realize are designed to see, are you well informed? Are you what? Now, how many of you would like a promotion? Would you raise your hand? Study. You should be the expert of your field. The problem with, and I talk to some people in their middle age, and they say, Pastor Sumrall, I don't understand why these younger people are getting promoted over me in my company. You stop learning. You stop being well informed. Now, please forgive me. It doesn't even cost money anymore to stay on top of your career. It doesn't even cost money anymore to stay well informed about your field of endeavor or your career or your business. You just get on the internet. It's free. You just subscribe to certain blogs and things that are on the cutting edge of your field, and those subscriptions, the information just comes into your email box, and you sit there on the bus and you read it and you stay informed. Everybody shout, stay informed. Halingbawa. I told one of you, let me tell one of me. Oh, maybe a year or so. Sometimes you lose track of time. Things get to moving real fast here at COP. But I was in Hong Kong with some of our people, and one of the things we were doing was I was introducing one of our businessmen to an old friend of mine. And we were having lunch together. And now this old friend of mine I've known for, my goodness, since the mid-90s. And I met him in a fountain pen store, and it was interesting that he liked fountain pens and I liked fountain pens, and he was surprised that I was so well informed about fountain pens. And, you know, I grew up with a dad who loved fountain pens, all right? If you look at my bag, my everyday writer, so to speak, is a 1960s Mont Blanc, when they still made Mont Blancs out of steel before they started making them out of plastic, all right? They write beautifully. I know what a Schaefer snorkel is. I have a Schaefer snorkel, all right? I mean, you know, so we built this friendship over fountain pens, and over the years, and I used to go over there every month, we would sit down, and he loved to talk about eschatology and things, and we would sit down and have lunch or coffee together, and he was an absolutely brilliant guy. And I used to love to just sit down and have a conversation with him. Well, it's been about 6 or 7 years since I was in Hong Kong, so when we were there, we're sitting down having lunch. I felt like a kindergartner talking to a guy with a PhD. I thought, Lord, I'm dumb. I came home and told Sister Bev, I said, sweetheart, I don't think I'm as smart as I used to be. Now, young people, you don't get that. How many people here are over 50? Everybody over 50, raise your hands. You don't mind it if your knee hurts a little bit, but you want your brains. How many people are over 50? Raise your hand. You want your brains, diba? And I'm sitting there thinking, Lord, what is happening? You know, I've always had this great IQ and could figure things out. I feel like a dum-dum. And Sister Bev just laughed at me. And my confidence was really, really shaken. I mean, and then I realized one day, my IQ hasn't changed. I'm still a very clever person. I'm just not informed. When I used to travel all the time, I'd sit on airplanes and read Scientific American Journal. I'd read Harvard Business Review. If I couldn't find a Harvard Business Review magazine, I'd pick up a Harvard Business Review book in the bookstores in the airports. And I was always reading because, you know, especially if you're a coach class on the airplane, you can't take your computer out because the guy ahead of you is going to push a seat back and your computer is going to hit you in the face. So, you know, it was a great place to read books and read magazines. And so I was always reading. Now, life gets busier as we get older, and I stopped. I haven't even bought a Scientific American magazine in Grabe 5 years. I'm probably 6 months behind reading my Harvard Business Review. Somebody actually gave me a gift of Harvard Business Review, and I'm 6 months behind reading it. Now, there's nothing wrong with my IQ. My processor is still good, but there's not information in the processor. So next time I'll go see my friend, I'm going to read a whole bunch before I get there. How many of you understand what I'm talking about? Now, when people sit down and talk with you, very quickly they understand how well informed you are. Everybody say, well informed. Do you want a promotion? You've got a great CPU. Now put some information in it. I didn't hear you. You know, please forgive me, young people, don't get mad at me. Young people, promise not to get mad at me. Never mind. Young people, promise not to get mad at me. Put information in, not anime. Put information, not Avengers. Put information, not Black Panther. There's nothing wrong with movies, but my goodness, put some information in your CPU. All right, that's my offering thought today. Young people, are you going to shoot me?